Do you like watching other people play video games? Amazon is gambling that you do to the tune of $1 billion, which is what they just paid for Twitch. For those that don't know, Twitch is a video site that live streams people playing video games. That's it. There is some proof that Amazon hasn't completely lost its mind because Twitch, at its peak times, draws more viewers than several cable channels, MTV included. That's about 55 million unique viewers a month. What do you guys think about this purchase? Are we all going to start watching other people play video games, or is that weird? Dan, why don't you start?
I think it's kind of weird. I mean, I've actually watched pre-recorded games where you can actually record your session like a level go through, and I've watched those, which I think is fine. If there's a game out there that I haven't bought and I want to get a feel for the gameplay, then yes, I would absolutely watch it. But not for recreational use. I mean, what do I want to do tonight? Well, let's crack open a cold one and watch a couple rounds of whatever. It's like that's like I don't know. It just seems so. Slacktivist to me.
I thought the same thing you did until I got a hankering to play Mega Man games, the old ones from the NES, and then I was like, well, do I want to play them or just watch them? And I looked up, and on YouTube, there's a guy that has played through every level of every game. So I watched the first one. Next thing I know, I'm on like game number 7, and I'm just sitting there like. Just watching this guy go through level after level of Mega Man. So, yeah, I'm part of the problem.
Well, let me ask you this. Does that make you want to go out and play the game?
You know, it does. It really does. But then I remember how frustrating they were, and part of me is like, I would rather watch. So I'm getting more enjoyment out of watching someone play a game than I would be if I played it myself. And that happens in real life, too. Like, my buddy was playing Shadow of the Colossus, and I watched him play, and it looked so frustrating that I wouldn't want to play, but I was glad I was watching him play because it was exciting watching someone else and not putting up with the frustrations myself. If that makes sense. Lewis, where do you sit on this line?
You know, prior to this whole Amazon thing with Twitch, I didn't really know much about the company. I know that it's cooked into the PS4 and to the Xbox One.
Correct.
So I went to the website. I started looking at a couple of games, and I started looking at a couple of people's live streams. And believe it or not, it's kind of addictive. First of all, because all right, so one guy was playing, I believe, Halo 3 or Halo 4, which I don't own. I never played it, and I was like, hey, you know what? This looks pretty cool. I would buy it. So it's almost like a cheap try before you buy kind of deal. And then another one which I found even more addictive was this one guy who was playing FIFA 14, which is a soccer game, and it's almost like watching an actual soccer game like live. I mean, obviously it's computerized and digitized, but that excitement is still there. And I was like, wow, I could see this being addictive. And every now and then the guy will say something live because it was a live stream. He was like, oh, I scored, or this and that. But I could see that becoming a thing, and having some sort of like a World Cup, online between them.
Like, are you saying like a pay-per-view event? Like, people would actually pay like $19
that's the other
to watch
interesting
you guys
thing.
play video games online.
A lot of them would say they have they have their live stream going on right there, right? And then they have like a little chat window, and they'll have like a PayPal button that'll say like, hey, if you donate $1, I'll say your screen name while I'm playing, or donate $1 and I'll try to beat this level on super hard, or I'll beat this level using my fist, or whatever. And it's only $1. It's only $1, but if enough people do that, and you're the one playing the games, that's a pretty decent amount of revenue you could be making just for sitting down and watching games.
Right. Well, it's also interesting that the way you're talking about it is, it does seem like people are getting really creative with their streams. Does this mean that this is a new medium that we just haven't seen exploited to its ultimate level? And maybe, like, it sounds silly, like, oh, watch someone play a game, but maybe there's so much more to it that in the future there will be, cable channels of people playing games.
I think that's exactly what it is. There's a ton of gamers, and the gaming industry makes more money than Hollywood.
Right.
Yet most people, culturally, we don't accept that. We're like, no, that's impossible. But it does. And finally, you have a service now that caters just to gamers, and now it belongs to Amazon.
Yeah. Well, maybe Amazon really is onto something. I thought at first they bought it just to give like gameplay trailers, because anytime a new game comes out and you see the trailer, it's always like the animated pre-rendered stuff that they show you, and you're like,
Right.
"Ooh, that looks great," but
Right.
I always want to see in-game footage, and I thought this would be a way for them to deliver that to us. But I don't know. I don't think that's their only end game. But I think they have a broader idea, and maybe in the future we're all just going to be sitting down and watching Mega Man be played from beginning to end. Well, that is our 2 cents. What's yours? Are you interested in watching other people play video games? Is Amazon onto something, or are they off their rocker? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to buy some video games to start your own Twitch stream with, go to dealnews.com and click on Gaming and Toys under the All categories to find the day's best deals on video games. That's dealnews.com. For dealnews.com, along with Dan Ledbetter and Luis Ramirez, I'm Jeff Summergy. Bye-bye.